Today's lesson is called The Seasons of Farming. Each year has 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, and fall. Spring begins in March and is usually followed by summer, which begins in June, and it's the warmest season. Fall or autumn follows summer and begins in September. After fall comes winter, which is the coldest season. Winter begins in December and ends in March, when spring arrives again and the cycle starts all over. So say the 4 seasons with me. Ready? Repeat after me. Spring, summer, fall, winter. 4 seasons. Before we start with our lesson today, let's go over some vocabulary words. Our first word is drought. Say drought. Drought is a period of time when there is very little or no rain. Fertilizer. Say fertilizer. Fertilizer is material that provides nutrients to soil and plants. Irrigate. Say irrigate. Irrigate means to bring water to a place where crops are planted. Pests. Say pests. Pests are animals such as insects that harm crops. And our last word is pesticides. Say pesticides. Pesticides are chemicals used to kill pests. So in today's read aloud, you're going to learn about what happens on a farm during each of the 4 seasons. I want you to listen carefully to learn about the different things that happen on a farm during each season. There are 4 seasons in a year. Spring always follows winter. Summer always follows spring. And fall or autumn always follows summer. After autumn comes winter, and the cycle begins anew. A farmer's work, the jobs he or she does each day, changes from season to season. He or she does certain jobs in the spring, summer, fall, and winter. When we talk about the way in which a farmer's jobs change according to the seasons, it makes sense to begin with spring. Springtime is when plants awaken from the long winter. New buds, leaves, and blossoms appear on trees, and wildflowers bloom in the fields. Springtime also marks the beginning of the crop cycle, when seeds are planted and new crops begin to grow. A farmer cannot plant if he does not prepare the ground first. Typically, this is done with a plow. This plow has long, sharp teeth that dig into the earth, shredding the dirt and plants to make room for new seeds. In order to prepare or cultivate the soil, the farmer adds a little fertilizer, just to make sure that there are plenty of nutrients for his plants. Fertilizer contains nutrients to help the plants grow well. Different plants like different kinds of fertilizers. Some fertilizers are made from chemicals and others are made from animal manure or animal waste. To plant large crops, most farmers use tractor-driven seed spreaders like this one. It drops the seeds into the rows that the farmer has already plowed and fertilized. As it passes, dropping seeds evenly in the rows, the seed spreader brushes a layer of soil over the seeds. After planting, the farmer watches the weather and hopes for rain. The seeds need water in order to sprout into seedlings. In many places, spring is also a rainy season. Few things make a farmer happier than the sight of dark rain clouds overhead. because those rain clouds mean rain. Eventually, the brown field will turn green as seedlings emerge from the soil. Once they have sprouted, the new plants will continue to need water. By the time spring makes way for summer, these corn plants will be about knee-high. Hopefully, they will continue to grow taller and taller throughout the hot summer. Sometimes problems arise and the plants do not grow as expected. Crops fail or die sometimes, no matter how hard a farmer works and no matter how much he knows about farming. Drought is one of the farmer's worst enemies. A drought occurs when it does not rain for a very long time. Droughts occur most frequently during the summertime. The crop in this picture is supposed to be tall and green. Instead, because of a drought, the crop is brown and wilted. If he has a good source of water nearby, the farmer can irrigate his crops. Irrigate means to bring water to a place where crops are planted. However, a long drought can cause wells and rivers to dry up. Irrigation can work well, but only if there is adequate rainfall. Unfortunately, rain isn't the only thing a farmer needs to worry about. Pests can ruin a crop as well, especially in the summer. Pests are animals such as insects that harm crops. This is a locust, which is a type of grasshopper. Locusts are famous for destroying crops by eating them. Various types of worms, beetles, flies, and other insects can also eat a farmer's crop. Fortunately, farmers have ways of protecting their crops. Sometimes farmers spray pesticides or chemicals that repel bugs and insects in order to ensure that the crop will survive and yield plenty of fruits or vegetables. A farmer can apply pesticides using the same equipment he uses to fertilize his crops. Organic farms grow crops without chemical pesticides. For very large crops or fragile crops that could be damaged by tractor wheels, the farmer can hire a crop duster. A crop duster is a type of airplane. The pilot swoops down out of the sky, opens his hatch, and releases the pesticides over the crops. The crop duster can spread pesticides over a large area, and the farmer doesn't have to worry about trampling his crops with tractor tires. On some farms, harvest time is the hardest time. Most crops need to be harvested at just the right time or they will spoil. Harvest time is different for different crops and runs typically from early summer through the fall season. Some crops must be harvested by hand so they are not damaged. During harvest time, farmers need all the help they can get. They often hire people to help bring in the harvest as quickly as possible. Actually, not all farmers need to plant new crops every winter. Farmers that own orchards or fruit tree farms, such as apples and peaches, only have to plant each tree one time. That may sound easier, but it also requires a lot of hard work and patience, as every orchard farmer knows. Once these apple trees are planted, the orchard owner must wait several years before they are able to produce big, red, juicy apples. After the trees have fully grown, they will follow the usual crop cycle, producing new leaves and flowers in the spring and young fruits in the summer. The apples will grow all summer long until fall, when it is apple picking time. After harvest time, the farmer is finally able to take a rest. You might think that winter would be the easiest season for a farmer, and compared to the other seasons, it probably is. However, winter is the only time the farmer has to fix tools and machinery that has worn out or broken during the rest of the year. It is also time to plan for the next planting season, to buy seeds and test the soil to decide how much fertilizer he will need next year. No matter the season, there is always work to be done on the farm. So farmers work all year round, but their jobs look different depending on the season. That is all for today. Go ahead and answer the questions.